Well, a very good morning to you. I think autumn is definitely on its way. The rain is coming down outside, and I think I need to get some better lighting for these morning devotions. It's great to be with you. And today we're going to be looking at the passage again in Mark's Gospel, and it's the end of Mark chapter 7. And one of the great things about the Bible is that no matter how many times you read it, you always see new things. And today is one of those ones for me particularly. So verse 31 from Mark 7. Then Jesus left the vicinity of Tyre and went through Sidon down to the Sea of Galilee and into the region of Decapolis. And there people brought to him a man who was deaf and could hardly talk. And they begged Jesus to place his hand on him. Good morning, Nicola. After he took him aside, away from the crowd, Jesus put his fingers into the man's ears and then spit and touched the man's tongue. He looked up to heaven and with a deep sigh said to him, Ephphatha, which means be opened. At this the man's ears were opened, his tongue was loosened, and he began to speak plainly. Jesus commanded them not to tell anyone, but the more he did so, the more they kept talking about it. And people were overwhelmed with amazement. He has done everything well. He even makes the deaf hear and the mute speak. Well, just think about that little passage this morning. I've hit an age where I'm not hearing very well anymore. Good morning, Tim. And I know what it is to be a little bit cut off. But here's a guy who basically was deaf, and that deafness had cut him off so much that he couldn't hear properly and he couldn't speak properly. Probably didn't even know that Jesus was in town. And in a sense, I wonder whether or not it's a great little picture of what it's like as ordinary human beings to be just a wee bit cut off from God, not being able to hear properly what he's saying, and not be able to really speak properly about what God is doing. And Jesus comes alongside this guy who's cut off. And what does he do? He puts his fingers into the man's ears and he spits and puts that spit on the man's lips. And the thought is really simple this morning. Just look at how personal Jesus got in order to heal the man. The man needed to sort of drop his guard to allow Jesus to come that close, because it's pretty personal, don't you think, to let somebody stick their fingers into your ears. It's pretty personal for them to take their own saliva and rub it on their lips. So Jesus wanted to help the man, but the man needed to allow Jesus to help him in the most personal ways. And maybe today, if you're feeling a little bit cut off, not being able to hear what God is saying, wanting answers to prayers, but they're not coming, maybe we've got to allow Jesus to answer our prayers by allowing him to come close to us and answer our prayers in his way and not ours. Because the cool thing is about this passage, look what everybody said at the end. He does everything well. We can trust Jesus today to do everything well. Right at the beginning of Genesis, do you remember the words and God said, this is really good. And today, even the people of his creation said, do you know what? Jesus does everything well. Good to see you.